Hlamlo Baloy,
Yes,
how are you?
I'm good, thanks. And how are you?
It's been a long time. I think the last time I saw you, it was before you went to the US.
Yeah, probably when, what is it, April
Yeah, somewhere there before June. Yeah.
2023. Yeah.
How have you been since then?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was life in the US?
Better.
Like how better? No, we want
Better.
to know like how was like because you went to the US that we all want aspire to go. So
Uh, I don't think it's like an aspirational thing. It was just, I just needed to be away from the threats to my life. So,
yeah.
you know, I guess. But, to be in a foreign country by yourself, all alone is challenging. But, yeah.
So it's true that you went to the US because you were receiving like death threats.
Not that I was receiving death threats, but I knew that people were going to try and take me out. So, even the episode that I gave you, I said everything I said, just in case if they take me out, you know exactly who it is. So.
Yeah, but I kind of knew like what was going on and everything because I was also scared for myself, I was scared like because I waited on emails, checking on emails like there's no one getting me sued or anything. So like, and then I was like, okay, and then we're safe. And then you went to the US. I was like, what's going on? Then 1+1,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I told you that, don't worry, I know how to keep myself safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since you back, have you received like any threats?
Well, I mean, I only came back when I knew that they arrested the guys that were responsible for taking out Keenan.
Yeah.
So when I was in Miami,
Yeah.
and then I got word from Westville prison that, they arrested someone and he's confessed that they were part of the whole entire plot, and they're going to release him so that he can go and help find the other guys. So fortunately, I've got eyes and ears even inside prison.
Yeah.
Like I said. So yeah. So then when I knew that, it would be too costly for them to try something. Okay. It's already too late. The police have already got the evidence. It's not like, I'm the only one with special information. But also, I mean, the reason I came back from Cape Town is because they came to look for me in Cape Town. You know what I mean? So they tried to figure out where I was. And then they made some calls, and then they called, and then, what's this guy? KO's brother, Siam Dluli.
Yeah.
He was just calling me, and I was like, why is this guy calling me? He's obviously trying to locate my phone. And then he said something. He says, yeah, I know where you are. You with Kidex. And I was like, okay, that's where I left my car. So they're tracking my car. So then I could figure out 2 and 2 together. Then a youngster CPT's manager called and said, hey, there's some people that are looking for this guy here in Cape Town, just so you know.
Jeez,
so wherever
man.
he is, he needs to move.
Because like I thought to myself, if I were to run to somewhere, I would go to Cape Town,
No, I wasn't in Cape Town. I was in
there.
Paul.
Okay.
Yeah. I was in Paul, and then they arrested the guy.
Yeah.
And the police said, no, the guy we've arrested has got nothing to do with whatever. And I was like, okay, I already know what's going on. It's clearly.
But how do you feel when you know like there are people who are looking for you, not for good reasons, but to kill you or to do something to you?
It is what it is. We live in an evil world,
Yeah.
And yeah, the devil is everywhere. So I just feel like in such instances, I'm just glad that I was raised in a home where I had access to knowledge on how to avoid detection and how to take yourself out of vulnerable situations. So, it is what it is.
Yeah. So did you tell your family like you getting any threats or anything?
No, obviously my family already knew. You know what I mean? My dad knew, like I was posting that there's only 2 times I've ever seen my dad cry.
Yeah.
When my grandmother died, his mother, and then when he was telling me that, people are going to try and kill you. So just, let let things be. But you cannot live in fear, and you cannot let things be, because that's exactly why we're in the situation that we're in as a country, you know. Just as black people, you know, the most evil thing that black people do is that we claim that white people are the evil ones, when white people have never done anything to us, ever, you know, in throughout our history.
But you cannot say ever.
So I'll tell you why, you know. Any single contact that we've had with white people, we've always had black leadership that has represented us. And when the conflict then was not resolved, then they declare war. And then when they realize that, okay, maybe they cannot win the war, they'd negotiate a truce. The thing is that our culture is different from European culture a lot. And as the world was globalizing, you know, we were getting left behind in terms of our development. Like our political systems, we still had feudal lords, you know, our chiefs, our clan leaders, our kings, or whatever the case may be. And as the world was developing, you know, the Europeans, they'd already emerged from that system. They'd already overcome their feudal lords. They had already had, you know, private ownership of property as individuals. You know, it wasn't like there's a Nduna that rules over white people that live in a certain region. Everyone had their own little plot, their own piece of land, and we didn't have that system. And that's how the world was going to develop and developing further. And our leaders knew this, because that's what they were told by, you know, the settlers that started coming here. And instead of empowering their own people, our black people, what they did is that they made compromises and deals with those European leaders, and then left their subjects or their people, you know, to continue the life as it had been in the past, and without then giving them the tools, whether it be, you know, ownership of private property and anything else, to lift themselves up as individuals, so that they stay dependent on the feudal lords. And that has been the greatest evil that has been committed by black people, because it wasn't committed by our enemies or strangers or foreigners. It was committed by our own people, you know. And our leaders left us defenseless, so that they could benefit themselves and their closer, their nucleus families, to the detriment of everybody else, so that they could then sell everybody else into slavery and into indentured servitude for, you know, capitalist masters or imperialist masters, while they had the comforts of nobility, you know. So it is what it is. And that's the case. And, you know, when Shaka had to confront this, you know, himself, the reason why he was a special king is that, you know, he was born of an illegitimate relationship. His mother was not the wife of his father, and, you know, he rose through his own militaristic prowess and the fact that he was a strong soldier. And when he was killed by his brothers were wanting to ensure that they are the ones that inherit whatever it is that he had fought for in that kingdom. And he said his last words to his brothers when they killed him was "Ngeke nilibuse," you know. And he said in his dying moment that this land that you guys are killing me over will be ruled by these whites. And that'll be it. And so, you know, the pattern of betrayal has been part of our history since the dawn of colonization, or whatever it is. So we've had black leaders that have collaborated with our invaders and our enemies to subjugate their own subjects and sell them into slavery, ship them all around the world. Wherever there's black people, you know, it's either they're there because of suffering back home, or they're there because they were sold by their own people. And therefore, you know, I cannot look at the atrocities committed by those who are supposed to be our enemies or our opponents and think that they are any worse than the atrocities that have been allowed and enabled by those that are supposed to be our leaders.
Yes, I get what he's saying, but I think someone might get it wrong when you are saying like the whites have done nothing wrong. I think the nature of betrayal is in human nature on its own, besides being black and white and everything.
So what have they done wrong?
A lot. I don't want to say
So
it
let me
should be, but
let
a
me put it
lot.
to you like this. Like I've said this many times before. White people have got genes of Neanderthals in them. You know, I said this on a Penwell podcast, which he removed because he doesn't like the truth, and he doesn't like someone who's going to come to his platform and challenge him and actually tell him the stuff that he doesn't know about. So I'm here with my dad.
So
He's outside. My dad works in construction, and one of the things that was painful about my childhood is that a lot of times, because my dad was so busy, he'd be late to pick me up at school. Sometimes he'd pick me up at like 8 p.m.
that's late.
Yeah. So the only trauma is that when you're waiting for your dad outside, every car that looks like your dad's car passes, but it's not your dad.
But at least you had your dad picking you up. Some people didn't have like dad's coming at all.
Yeah, well, that's because it took 4 taxis to get home.
Yeah, okay,
And
get it.
Yeah. So and I can't look at some kids who could not have that at all because why didn't their parents work hard enough to get the means? Like their parents decided to have children without the means to take care of their own children. So that's their own parents' failure. You know what I mean? I can't feel guilty about that. My dad also has lots of responsibilities. Like he had to pay workers, make sure that other people can feed their kids, and those parents did not have to worry about those things. So, anyway, as I was saying, is that I then decided, okay, no, let me go to where my dad is working. So he started working in Braamfontein, building or refurbishing student accommodation. I don't know if you've seen, like, there's these Danwell properties. They're very
Danwell, I know
yeah.
them.
So he did the refurbishments and the conversions of all those things into like actual accommodation. And when he was doing it, it was actually pretty good. But they've allowed them to get into disrepair over the years. So this is between maybe 2002, 2003 to 2010 or 11. So it's back in the day. So because he was working in that area and doing these refurbishments, I used to go to Joburg City Library. And what I would do at Joburg City Library, thank goodness that my dad was not as obedient as my mother, because my mother would want to sign my homework book and see that I've done the actual homework. My dad didn't care whether I did my homework or not. He knew that I was smart. He just wanted me to be learning. So if I went to the library, I could learn whatever I did, whatever I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And he didn't care whether or not I did my homework, as long as I know what I need to know.
Yeah.
So he'd sign my homework book without even checking whether I've done my homework, and therefore I never ever did homework throughout my schooling.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned what I wanted to learn and what interests me and piqued my interest. And what I found was a fascination with recorded history through newspapers. So I'd go into the archives, I think in the basement at the Joburg City Library, and then I'd read all the old newspapers, old newspapers even from like the 18th century. When is this 18th century? Is it 1700s? Ne? Yeah, from the 1700s, they had archives of newspapers from the Cape Colony, and it gave me basically an understanding of the development of history through the recording of the current affairs at the time.
Yeah.
And because of that, I was able to make up my own mind about certain things because I was reading different sources and also analyzing the contradictions between the different sources. So I could see where the brainwashing happened with what was part of the curriculum and what we were being taught. And I could see that, okay, fine, this is written in the textbook, but I've actually studied the newspaper articles of the days when these events were actually happening. And it did not get reported like that. And why has it been twisted? So I've got a different understanding of history and historical context from someone who's just educated by what is in the school curriculum. And I therefore can understand why people don't get what I'm saying a lot of the times, but that's the nature of media.
So when you're saying someone who just got educated by the school curriculum, are you referring to me right now?
No, I'm referring to everyone that's educated by the school curriculum. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
So back to the main topic, right? Do
Mm-hmm.
you feel safe?
There's no one who's safe. I mean, you just watch Donald Trump getting saved by God
Yeah.
himself, you know?
Yeah.
So no one is safe. Anyone can be touched. You can be touched as long as the person that's trying to kill you is willing to die.
Mm.
Yeah. So if someone comes strapped to the bomb, runs, doesn't
So
matter how
can
many
get-
security guards you had, you're all dying.
Yeah.
So is your assailant. You know what I
Because
mean?
I live like in the city, I think I feel a little bit safer now because when in state rather than where I live in the main like city. You are wanted and I live in the city. It's two different stories. I get it.
As I'm saying, no one is safe.
Nobody's safe.
Anyone can be touched. Everyone can be touched. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The people that come for me are not like normal people. Like the police come for me. People send police or dirty cops
Yeah, I
to
know
come
that.
for me. And then other clean cops say, hey, our dirty friends were sent to come for you. I hope you're okay. But, just be careful because, there's some dirty cops around here that do dirty things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The police give their guns to hitmen
Yeah.
to kill people. You know what I mean? They hire out their guns from, the shooting ranges, the police shooting ranges. So, no one is safe. It is what it is. It's just some people like myself, are just not afraid.
Yeah.
And if I was afraid, then, I'd go into hiding or I'd just keep quiet about the things that are, making the world a worse place. And what good does that do? It's not going to make me any safer as well because, one day the people that want to take from those that have are going to realize that, looting a shopping center is less lucrative than coming into Thatchfield Estate and actually taking the TVs that are hanging on people's walls
Yeah.
instead of the ones that are at Macro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I get like was it your decision to go to the US or family like your family
No, it was my
involved?
decision. It was
Oh.
a place that I knew that I can,
Okay.
do things, I can live. Yeah. And, it's a very costly decision. The US is very expensive.
Yeah.
I've heard from a whole lot of people when they go to the US, they go there for 1 week, they come back and they're
Yeah,
broke.
2 days actually. Not 1 week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thank goodness I worked myself into a position where I'd have the means
Yeah.
to be able to live both here and there, And I'm returning there soon anyway,
Yeah.
as soon as I get done with whatever I need to deal with in the courts. But yeah.
Yeah. So like I know like South Africa is one of those countries with the highest crime rates. Yes, you were safe in the US, but there's
I
crime
wasn't
there.
safe
too.
anyway. You're not safe anyway.
That's what I'm saying. Like
yeah.
so is crime is like a
The people
world.
that were after me couldn't reach me there. It's out of their jurisdiction. They work for the SAPS.
Who are these people
I
actually?
mean, that's you know what I mean. So, it is what it is. It's the people that control this country. It's the people that sue me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are those people.
I only know one person who sued you. So
What?
is that the one who's like
No,
targeting
KO
you?
has sued me. Like even right now, I've got
Shimza,
case,
I know
Shimza, obviously, because his girlfriend works for the president.
If
and,
you're done paying Shimza.
I don't think I'll ever pay him. I'll wait for a credible president that's going to put him behind bars. That's it. And that'll be it. You know what I mean? In fact, if I had trust in the police, I would have opened a case against him
Yeah.
for corruption. You know what I mean? Extortion, intimidation, all of those types of things. And yeah, so, he needs to go to jail. Him, Somizi, everyone who benefited from that little tourism thing. That
Yeah.
is the reason why he sued me. You know what I mean? The judge that ruled over that case, he needs to go to jail. You know what I mean? And I just hope that, he thinks he's safe, that judge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he can keep his kids safe forever. You know what I mean? Because if you contribute to the criminality that happens and then something happens to your family members, you can only blame yourself because you are presiding over a system that is so corrupt that you can't even keep yourself safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you keep yourself safe right now?
I just
Because we are
monitor
here now.
threats.
Someone can just pull up.
Yeah,
And
nah. Don't worry.
what do you do? Tell me, what do you do now to keep yourself safe?
I just live my life.
Oh no, we should not expose that. Right?
No.
Like, how's your family feeling
believe in
about
God.
this whole thing?
I believe in God. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like Donald Trump. There's a very good reason why he turned his head at exactly the right angle to stop his brains from being blown out. It's because God is watching him. And I've got full faith in God that it's not my time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So everyone who's tried has failed, and it's not my time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For context, for those who don't know, like the reason you started getting threats, it's because you were speaking about the AKA, like how AK was killed and everything.
I think it was before then. Was he killed by the time I spoke about the Shimza thing? No.
From my point of view,
He was still alive. No. Kelly Kumalo, was he killed by the time I started speaking about the whole entire Kelly Kumalo Senzo Mewa thing? No. So that's it. So, it started there, I'd say. It started when I saw Kelly Kumalo billboards, and I was like, that made me lose my fucking mind. I was like, not a fucking chance. You're going to put this girl who had someone die in her house on billboards and do a reality show, and also she keeps her son away from his father. You know what I mean? Like any son that's kept away from their father, is at a disadvantage in life. And if you go to the prisons and you speak to prisoners, most of them will tell you that, the reason they're there was just because they were trying to provide for their mothers. And that just tells you how evil it must be to put a boy child in a position where they don't have a good father to raise them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have spoken about how much a good father your father is, like a lot of times,
Yeah, well, everybody should speak about how good their fathers are, because all you see in the media is people talking badly about their fathers. You know what I mean? My father's not perfect. I fight with my dad all the time. In fact, we were arguing all the way here.
Yeah.
But at least we've got freedom of speech in our household.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My father is a good father too. He's the best, actually.
Yeah.
Like, he's the best man alive. I wish, I can take more from that guy.
Well, you wouldn't be here without him, so,
Yeah. Actually, you paid for all this. Yeah, that's
Forget paying. Forget paying. You wouldn't be here without him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
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 Something just recently happened in your life. You got divorced. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, God is favoring me. He's getting rid of all the people that have been brought into my life to try and bring me down one by one. So, I have a heavy weight that has been lifted off my shoulders. And, yeah.
But how are you feeling? How are you taking, like, this whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, everyone expects you to be, like, distraught and everything else. But certain things make you realize that people are not for you. You know what I mean? So if you realize that someone who's not favoring you, who's not supporting you, who's willing to go out there, collaborate with people who've said disparaging things about you and then contribute to that, that's someone that's trying to destroy you. You know what I mean? And whatever the cost, the price that you pay to get rid of that person from, your orbit, that's small price to pay. You know what I mean? So, yeah. It is what it is.
But you love there. Like, I know how much you love there.
I mean, you love sugar. Is it good for you? You understand? I used to love Coca-Cola. I stopped drinking it, and now I brush my teeth, and I can see them getting whiter and whiter and whiter. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that one is infatuated by.
Yeah. But how do you feel when you see somebody who you used to love, used to spend time with, go to maybe vacations? I don't know if you did, but I'm sure you did.
Obviously.
Everything, now you are at court, you are discussing how you're getting separated. How does it feel?
Yeah, I feel like, at least I'm getting a nice experience, something to overcome, another stripe.
How so?
Yeah, I mean, come on. It's just my first divorce, who knows? There might be more.
So are you going to get, like, married again?
Well, it's it's a very lonely life
Yeah.
if you can't find someone to grow old with,
Yeah.
you know, who cares for you. So I do desire some sort of companionship, but not at the cost of being myself and not at the cost of, you know, living my dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What are
it is what it is.
what are the things that you have learned while you're on the relationship, and those which you have learned while you're going through your divorce?
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't learn much while you're in a relationship because, you know, yeah, you learn afterwards once
Yeah.
it's over, you know. Um, you come into a relationship as who you are,
Yeah.
you know, and it is what it is. So not everyone that comes to you saying that they've got good intentions is actually genuine. Some people come into your life just to destroy you, just to take from you, you know, just to sap from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I've learned about myself is that, you know, I've got a magnetic energy and people want that. They want to take from me. You know what I mean? And sometimes I'm just too giving of myself,
Yeah.
you
I
know?
know that.
And yeah, I've learned to be giving, right? But be cautious so that I'm not bitter, you know? I'm not a person who's like, oh, no, I'm not going to be giving anymore.
Yeah.
I just do it with more discernment.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the good thing about it.
I think the time I found out about you, I think on Twitter, some like your separation with her.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Twitter. I think it was a time where you were going to most podcasts and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and people were blaming you and that.
Mm.
I appreciate and I know the impact that you have on many podcasts, including mine, like
Yeah,
especially, you know.
personally, yeah.
Yeah. So don't you sometimes think like this podcasting thing coming to our podcast like messes up your life? Because there are podcasts where you spoke about her, you know, and like don't you think it's kind of messing up your life? Now
That's
you
the
are
thing.
like
If you have to turn yourself from a circle to a square to fit in with someone, you are losing. You understand? So you need to accept in life that certain people are not there for you. They're there to take from you. You know what I mean? And, you know, it was fun while she could take. Now there's nothing more that she can take. So she's the one that loses. You know what I mean? And that it is what it is. You don't find another Nhlamonopaloi like me. You know what I mean? Who was raised in the same household with the same values, you know.
yeah,
I'm a one of one, you know, unique. So, and not unique as in like one of a kind. Like, well, one of a kind, yeah. Not unique as in like rare. Unique as in one of a kind.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
yeah. But the question remains: do you feel like this podcasting sometimes, you know, those thoughts that comes at night, like sometimes you think like
No.
because even like about your safety, it's because of some of the things that you said on podcast
Yeah.
that gets you in
It's
danger.
because of fighting evil.
Yeah,
Yeah. And that's the territory. The evil is real. You see it. You're confronted by it. I mean, you know, the reason why you have got something to pursue and study is because you need to do a lot of work to help people overcome the evil that has traumatized them, especially as children.
yeah,
So yeah, you know, and I hope that you'll be doing a lot more of that because it's very important. We need a lot of social work. We've got so many social contagions that have, you know, corrupted our minds to
Yeah.
the extent that, you know, we don't even have respect for human life. Like people are willing to take people's lives for money. Like that is crazy. The fact that you can pay someone to kill someone.
yeah.
Like
not
we
that.
live in a country or in a society where that is possible. That is insane, you know. And we've lost all humanity, and a lot of work needs to be done to return that. And we cannot reverse what has already happened. But you know, we're all corrupted. We're all tainted, and those that turn a blind eye are no less innocent than those that are pulling the trigger.
Yeah. Do you think is it going to get better in terms of crime and the killing? Because if someone like AKA can get killed and takes a long like time to get people arrested and like the whole case closed, like how about like ordinary people?
I just hope that I can fight evil for as long as I'm breathing.
Yeah.
That is it. So that when I take my last breath, I know that it was in defiance. And that
Yeah.
is it. and that's all I can control. I can't control the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to the thing, like, what about compromising? You know, as in relationship, most people or we do compromise something. Don't you think like there was something that you could compromise that could just make your marriage like?
No, you can't. Accepting to be smaller than you are, to shrink yourself, is poisoning yourself. You know what I mean? You can't drink poison and expect to feel well. It is what it is. That's it. That's like now you're going to school, now you want to behave in a certain way because you want to have more friends, you want to be popular, you are being dishonest, you are lying to yourself.
Yeah.
No. It is what it is.
But you have been in a relationship slash marriage for I think a long time now.
Not really. I've had
How
longer.
long?
No, not really.
How long?
Probably like 2-3 years.
3 years marriage and then relationship before
No,
like
it's,
marriage.
even before I got married, I was in a relationship for maybe a year.
I see.
So it's no biggie. It's not fatal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not gonna kill you.
Did you throw any like divorce party, anything?
No,
or
not
you just chilled?
Not yet.
No, please invite me when you.
Yeah, when I get my cows back. I can't celebrate yet.
But they're in the foreign land, though. Are they gonna?
It
like,
doesn't
easily
matter. It
come
doesn't
back?
matter. Hey, they're gonna come back. Whatever's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
So like, how does it work when you divorce? Like the cows come back?
I've demanded my cows back, so they're gonna come back. That's it. It doesn't matter how it works.
But is it a thing? Like it comes
I don't
back?
know whether it's a thing. I've asked in court, and the judge told me that there's nothing he can do. But I said, she was there in the court, and she heard me, and her parents know, my dad knows, and he's sent out the instruction that what is ours must be returned to us. You cannot have ill-gotten gains. Those are stolen goods. You lied, to get those things, and now you want to keep them. Not a chance. There must be justice.
It's complicated.
It's not. Those are my values. I'm like that about everything. I have to be consistent. It's not complicated. I cannot compromise.
But throughout like the court thing, like
It was a very quick thing.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like we went back and forth.
But are you sure you're okay? I'm not saying that you should be miserable or anything. It's just that I feel like you're taking this
Okay.
thing lightly.
Look, there are people out there that want me dead.
Yeah.
It's the least of my worries.
Yeah.
I've got bigger fish to fry. You know what I mean?
You get that.
Yeah.
Do you now speak about the AKA thing?
I mean, what is there to speak about? It's in court right now.
Yeah, but are you now vocal like you used to be? Like,
Oh,
get
I've
these
never-
people arrested. You remember how you were? Like, get these people arrested. You
They've
went
been
to life.
arrested. They've been arrested. So let's watch the court process and see how it unfolds. If anything happens there that's not supposed to happen, or if we don't get the full story, then, I'll speak on that. But it is what it is. It is what it is. It's just sad that,
Yeah.
people are willing to give up their own family members. Like, it's sad that I'm the only person that actually fought for him.
It's so
That's
sad
just sad
to
to
say.
see. That's just sad to see.
Even in court, when they go to court, it's
it's-
only his father that I see
But even
mostly.
so, it's like
It's-
it's just being in court is not fighting.
Yeah.
You're just being you're present, but you're not fighting. You know what I mean? I'm the only person that actually fought. So it's sad. It's sad to see his child going to Durban July and being on the stage
Yeah.
at the guy who was in the white shirt leading him out of that club when he got shot is the guy that's organizing the gig where his daughter's on the stage. Sad. It just shows you that the same people that are willing to, accept money to kill people are willing to accept money to see their own flesh and blood in a box. It's just sad, and that is it. You don't want to see children growing up without their fathers.
Yeah.
Exactly, and you don't want to see children being used to make money just because their fathers are not there to protect them.
It's so sad. Every time I see like a video of Cairo pictures,
It's like,
I just
His child's being
You
used
know,
to make money because of how the
and he
world
was
is.
such a good father. Like he was.
Well,
What do you mean?
I'm just,
He was a good father. You can see through the videos and everything. Come on.
Man, a good father is there to live to raise their child. That's it. So it's just sad to
But
see.
it's not like he took his life, you know.
A good father is there. Whatever precaution you need to take. I'm still alive, am I not?
Yeah.
Because I take the precautions.
But you don't have a kid.
Why? It's not safe. You understand? So I need to make sure that I've got everything in order before I bring a child into this world.
So when like
My dad had me at 38. He had his first kid at 32. Yeah, he sorted his life out first before he brought us into this world.
You know, my father at 20, I don't know, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's just tough. It's tough nowadays. I mean, at 20, you could get a good job, you could get a place to stay and everything else. It's very tough. You guys have it hard, especially for your generation. It's really hard. And then, like, all the girls that are your age or your peers, the people that you're supposed to find wives in, all they think is, they need to be slay queens and they need to depend on a guy or whatever it is. And, they're either sucking your blood or they're dating older men, getting sick, infecting themselves with diseases that they pass down to younger guys who don't know any better. It's sad. It's like our society is eating itself alive,
But like, speaking about this cycle of women and everything,
Well, society, it's not women and everything. It's society.
Isn't like this thing, I think this thing have been there like for a long time, like since our grandparents, like, and everything. Because if you can see, most grandparents, their wives, some of
who's most? Maybe yours.
No, mine is good. But most have like their wives are young. Honestly.
Younger.
The age gap is too high.
Younger. Not young. Younger. It's not that big.
So you don't think it has been there forever? Like, not forever, but for generations?
No. Back in the day, there's a guy who used to work at the post office who was able to find a wife. He used to ride a bicycle, drop off letters at people's houses, come back home to his wife, find a nice warm meal, raise his kids, And there wasn't too much of an expectation for him to fly them around the world, take them on vacations or anything else. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it is what it is.
Then let's get to music and other thing. Current state of hip hop, what do you think?
I mean, what are they talking about?
What are we talking about? Because
exactly. I'm just saying, like, listen to the conversation that we're having. You're talking about social issues, things that affect people.
Yeah.
And then you listen to hip hop and they're talking about selfish desires and, things that affect them and themselves only. You know what I mean? They're not talking to the people. So that's not the purpose of hip hop. That's not why it was started. And that's why it is where it is. That's why Drake has been gotten out of here. Because Kendrick is like, yo, you're not talking about the people. And you're not talking about what affects us. You're what? What do they call it? You're a distraction. That is it. You're not addressing the real social issues. That's why no one even cares about the Eminem album. Because why? He's dissing people and cloud chasing and everything else. And that shock value was nice for, a white boy. But we've realized that, we don't need you white boys in this rap game because this thing is not like, it's not the same thing for you as it is for us. This is about our community as black people. And you listen to Amapiano and you listen to what they're saying about, yes, there's ratchet songs and everything else. But I mean, as ratchet as a person like Mahu is when she's doing an interview, when you listen to her songs, it's not ratchet. She's talking about real things, real life, anybody, you know what I mean? Most of the artists that come out, the biggest song this year is Imitandas.
Yeah, I feel that song.
You know what I mean? And then you get guys who will do songs like Manzinde. And then they've got girls that are being objectified, that they're now saying yes We know our society is corrupt, so we must take other people's daughters and turn them into objects that you put on your music videos and, discard them afterwards and endorse such ratchetry. And it's like, you don't do that with white girls. You know what I mean? You don't go to a club and see little white girls, little Bura Macy's, there with sparklers delivering you your drinks. I'm just saying, it's your own sisters.
I get it. The thing is, like, these things are normal now
But
in
you-
society.
but how do you feel?
I'm not saying they're right.
I'm not talking about endorsing it. How do you feel? You see your sisters coming to the table with sparklers like they're being used as objects. These are your sisters. If they're not your sisters, these are the mothers of your children one day. You know what I mean? You want to be a
Yeah.
part of that. Not me.
Okay, let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
You have a relation with as a Nyan doll. She's an OnlyFans, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you are saying you see that every she's a sister or whatever I can
No,
put it.
I'm a mentor.
You are a mentor. I
Yeah.
know that, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're doing this. Actually, she's also in a music video. Right. What are you saying as a mentor?
She has no parents.
No, as a
No,
mentor.
I'm just saying.
You are the mentor,
no,
right?
but you listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. She has no parents. She grew up without parents. I found her doing OnlyFans. Right? Now, it's either I can just condemn it and watch it, or at least I can be a mentor to her and ensure that at least she doesn't get used as an object and everything else. Yeah, she does her OnlyFans, but she knows where to draw the line. And there's nothing I can do about the society that we live in. It's already there. It's I cannot undo it. And she's not my child. You know what I mean? But the one thing that I can do is just ensure that she's got all the resources to do things that will get her out of that. You know what I mean? If she needs to be recording and going into studio and being encouraged to pursue something else, I'm there and I'm supporting that and I'm sponsoring that. I'm not there when she's doing her OnlyFans shoots or whatever. I don't even care for it.
Yeah.
Even last time Gigi Lemaine was doing an event and I called her, I said, yo, come with me to this event. I want you to do some networking, speak to other people, be a peer with these artists. You know what I mean? And yeah, she's on her own journey and she's 21 now. So she can do her own thing, but she's not my child. So I can't forbid her from doing anything, but I can at least guide her so that, she doesn't fall for the trappings of this evil society that we live in. Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, that's it. I do the best that I can do and I can control it, but I'm not responsible for someone else's actions.
Can I say my personal opinion
Yeah,
about
you can.
it?
Yeah.
We can say that too about our sisters in music videos or clubs and everything. They are on their journey. They are not our child. They decided it's the same thing.
Yeah, but you partake in it. Yeah, I'm not partaking in it. That's what I'm saying. You're not helping them get out of that. You're not helping them find other means.
So I think yesterday, Maporisa and El Tido going on. I won't say going on each other, talking about the mismanagement and everything that came from El Tido's podcast while he was speaking to Seth Thrill, and you came in. Let's speak about something that you speak a lot about: the mismanagement of artists. I will start with Makazi. You said that about, I think she's getting luxury clothes and everything. Can you speak about that?
Well, look, the artists are misled because they're being trapped by these corporations, these big labels, these big corporations. What they do is that they want you to be in perpetual debt. It's like one day you're going to get a nice big job, right? And the first thing that they're going to do at HR is they're going to give you medical aid, they're going to give you a car allowance, they're going to give you a house. Why? Because if you've got a bond to pay, that's 20 years, 25 years, and your boss calls you kafir, are you going to quit your job? Exactly. No. So you are being entrapped into a system. You become a debt slave. You work to pay debt because now you're so indebted. The lifestyle inflation that happens when you get whatever opportunity traps you into a system where now you are beholden to people that don't have your best interests at heart. And that happens to artists as well. They get exploited. The thing is that with artists, they don't have a degree or job offers. You know, so they can't go from career to career.
Yeah.
They can't go from workplace to workplace. You can't go from Deloitte to KPMG to PwC. You know what I mean?
So why do you always defend DJ Mapori's on, like, when they say he's chowing artist money?
It's not. I don't defend DJ Maporisa.
Yeah.
It's the people that are behind DJ Maporisa, the people that are part of the label. So you need to understand DJ Maporisa's situation is this, is that he thinks that he's getting advice from his lawyer or his attorney.
Yeah.
His attorney works for the label that he's signed to. The salary of the lawyer is paid by the label that he's signed to. So it's the same system that has been happening with black people since the feudal days, since colonialism. Well, they'll find the black Nduna and then they'll use him to enslave everybody else. And then what do? They tell those people that are now being enslaved that, yo, it's this Nduna that's enslaving you. So he's the Nduna. And the system says that so that they can, stop his influence. If you look at the influence of New Money Gang and how big is the label, there's Daliwonga, there's a whole lot of artists and Piano Hub and all these guys. If you look at how big they are, name one major recording label out of the big three, Warner, Universal, and Sony, that can do what they are doing. None of them. Name one major label recording MD, CEO that has ever gone election to sit down with the artists or whatever. You see the artists coming to their offices. These artists are from these impoverished situations. They don't know any better. For them, it's like, oh, you're taking us out of our poverty, but it's not the truth. If the person was really trying to do something for you, you'd be here in your grandmother's house, sitting with you and your grandmother. And I've said this before, and I said, listen, I will speak to an artist, I will go to their grandmother's house, and they'll sign with a white person. It's just who we've been trained to be. You know what I mean? And it's also because we are taught to mistrust other black people. So the main thing that they can do to ensure that Mapurisa doesn't get the amount of influence and the power that he's supposed to get so he can empower people is that they make sure that he looks like he's a crook. That is it. You spread that narrative by any means necessary. And then when Melo and Sleazy come to Mapurisa's house and everything else, Melo and Sleazy then end up signing with the lawyer that's supposed to be representing Mapurisa, who works for the major label, on another deal that gives 50% of their intellectual property to the label. And it's like, but they came to Mapurisa. He's the one that's supposed to be grooming them and putting them into the game. Why would they give their intellectual property to this corporation? It's because the lawyer that's advising them is like, yo, Mapurisa's a crook. He's going to chow you. At the same time, he's representing Mapurisa. You understand? And that's the narrative that is being spread everywhere.
I get it that this may be, I don't know, this may be a narrative against DJ Maporis.
It is.
So where is Cetral's money? So
it's
like
Cetral, that the Cetral situation is Cetral himself is not a reliable human being. Unfortunately, he doesn't handle his business well. He says he's got a manager who's been with him forever. If you really are serious about your career, you're gonna get a manager who, if he leaves you, another artist is gonna take him up. You're not gonna get a manager who, when you tell him, I don't want to wake up for this radio interview, he's not gonna do anything because you're all he's got. He's not elevating your career in any way. So you're just using this person, and then you throw them because you can throw them under the bus at will. That is it. And you're both not helping each other. You're both dragging each other down. And the problem is this, is that now you've got this person who's now working and thinks that they're working on building someone's career, but this person is self-sabotaging their own career, and this person's wasting their time. The person who's now thinking, I'm doing it with the best intentions, I'm managing you, is wasting their time because you're sabotaging, the bread that ends up being sliced up for all of us on the table. Yeah.
But I think most artists does that.
Why? Because they don't want to pay for professionals, and they're self-sabotaging because they don't want to be held accountable for their tardiness. They don't want to be held accountable for the fact that I told you to come. What time did I get here? At the time we agreed, don't wave your fingers at me. Don't wave your fingers at me. The time that we agreed.
It was one.
Yeah.
It's one.
Yeah, that's the time that I agreed to get you. I asked you if we could actually move it to 12 earlier,
Yeah.
which means I was prepared to come earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only reason that held me up is because there was someone who was at the gate and it took forever for them to get in and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Yeah. But when you sent me that text to ask me how far am I was actually at the gate.
Yeah, I get that. I respect that actually. So like
It's
I
not
think
about you respecting that. It's me respecting your time.
oh,
Yes.
I think this is the first I think this is the first time actually as a podcast that like somebody came in. I think you have previously.
I've never been late.
Yeah,
Never
because-
been late
But
for
some people is like
Why? Because I respect your time. That is it.
Thank you. That's why like I appreciate.
I cannot
it.
expect you to respect me if I don't respect you.
Yeah,
And that's
but
it.
some people are just big stars, you know.
It's
just
not
for
about being a big
podcast.
star.
In their mind. You know?
Come on. Dude, I get stopped in the streets of New York and get pictures taken with me. I'm just saying. I'm not just known in South Africa.
Yeah. Okay.
I've traveled the entire continent of Africa.
Yeah, going
understand
back to
what I'm
that thing, right?
I'm just
That
saying,
artist
every hemisphere, every region I've been to. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And why? Because I've got respect for people. You know what I mean? And then I get blessed because of respecting other people.
Yeah.
It is what it is. That's why I was so upset that you're not standing in the street when I'm coming here. Because you know I'm coming here. You should be standing in the street. You know the place is a maze. Now I have to figure out how to get here myself. I have to get lost.
I was lost myself.
You got lost yourself, so you should have thought, if I got lost coming here, maybe my guest might get lost too. So let me stand in the street outside so that I can help him.
No, I had to go to the other house. They know.
It doesn't matter. You've got a guest that you're expecting. You need to make sure that
Apologies
you're there.
big at
There
that.
you go. Okay.
Apologies.
Okay. Apology accepted.
Finishing about the thing, you know, artists, I get it, you know, when you have friends, I think the mistake that they make is appointing them as managers. They could just appoint them as something else.
The mistake that they make is not being respectful. If you respect the job, if you respect the craft, if you respect the gift that you've been given by God, if you respect the fact that you've got an audience that listens to you and supports you, you ensure that everything about you is respectable. That is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. Thank you, man. I want to say this to you before you go to the US because I might see you next year again, you know?
Yeah.
You're one of the people, too, actually, who made me take this thing seriously and who have given me an opportunity. Your podcast, actually, when you come, you know, that's why I invite you more. I've met people last year. Sometime I was in the bars. Sometimes I was at Bram. Like, who are you? Like, who am I? What do you mean? Like, you are the YouTube guy. They're not sure where they saw me, but they saw me some.
Yeah.
Like, you're the YouTube guy. Because I forget sometimes. They're like, oh, yeah. And then I agree, yeah, I'm the YouTube guy. Like, yeah, you're the Nota guy. Yeah, you're the one that did an interview with Nota. So, you know, like, you... you know? Like,
Yeah.
thank you, man. I appreciate it. Like,
So now,
it's like, for even risking your life, you know, you could get shot like on your way here.
nah, don't worry. God will stop the bullets.
Hey, you don't know.
You need to have faith. No, seriously, we do know. Trust me. If anything, trust me on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. I'll see you when I see you.
Sure.
Yeah. And you should go back to the US for one reason, you know? You're the only person that I knew at the time who was at the US, you know? Until next time.
Sure.